Howdy, friends, and welcome to the StoryField. This is a podcast where we talk about business, faith, and life in general.
Okay, so here's the deal. We want you to be encouraged. We want you living in hope. This life we live is complex. It's hard at times. At the StoryField, you will find great stories of normal people just like us who will inspire you. Our goal is that you leave encouraged, inspired, and excited to move forward in life. But before we get started, one thing though, if you're listening and you find yourself really hopeless right now, send us an email at hope@thestoryfield.com so we can pray for you. Thanks for joining us today. Let's get started.
Hey, StoryField. Welcome, my friend Keven Hallock. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hey, I do want to say first, Kevin, this is one of the best setups we have for our episodes yet. So, and I want to thank Jared Brown, who's you might hear him yelling some questions out in the background, but Jared's with Bite of Brownies Production, a good friend, does all the video stuff. If you have any questions, needs video help, whatever, YouTube stuff, video, call Bite of Brownie and Jared, good friend, doing this for us. And I think it's a really cool thing that it's your episode that we could do this on.
Well, great.
So this is
the
high.
bar is a little.
It's high.
So okay.
And because of that, I thought if it's cool with you, and I know it is, if we could start out, can I pray for this episode?
100%.
So, okay, let's do it. Hey, Father, we just pray that somebody who needs to hear Kevin's story, a lot of people who need to hear Kevin's story, you get it into their ears, that this is on purpose, that you're with him, you're walking, he loves you, and he's got a good story, and you've called him to be real and tell the truth. And it's going to be used to bring you glory and to lead some people to Jesus who loves them. And I just thank you. I bless Keven, his business, Jared, his business, and that you just get honor from this episode today. So we love you. Thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Okay. So you know the drill. So
No, I don't. This is my first time ever.
Well, here's the drill.
First time ever.
Thanks, man. I'm really excited.
I'm nervous.
I'm really excited.
We've said that a couple times already.
I know, but you know what? We're talking. We're just friends. So.
Yeah.
In our episodes, we kind of like to run it like a little bit of a life story, so people can kind of jump in early. And I think for you, that's where we need to start as well. But there's going to be some. I want to do this. I want to come to current first and ask you a question, and then I want you to use that to take us back. So the question is,
okay,
what do you know today, because of your life so far, about God's character? Does that make sense? Like, what do you know about God's character today because of your life?
Because
you know, so looking back, and you can say God's character, here's what I know about God now. I didn't know, and then take us back, and then we want to fill in the gaps.
His love is unconditional.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And his forgiveness is just part of that love.
Yeah. That's
He's
cool.
almost, I would almost sometimes see him as being blind.
Yeah.
Because when he says, I forgive you, it's gone, it's done, it's over.
Yeah.
I forgive you.
That gives me chills, man. Like, that's good, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean,
let's rewind.
He wasn't real big in my youth.
Okay.
He was there.
My
mom.
Where were you? Where are you from?
Where was I born? Okay,
Because we're recording this in Central Texas.
Oh well, I'm not from here.
Okay.
That's for sure.
So where are you from, and how'd you get here? And let's get going.
So I was born and raised in Morris, Michigan. I actually grew up in a town called. It's not a town. It was. The sign says Village of.
Okay.
It's a village of. I went to school with. I think there was 36 kids in my graduating class.
Okay.
I think there was 700 that lived in the county. Small farm town.
Yeah.
Lived with my dad, my mom, twin brothers, and a sister. I'm the oldest of the four. My brothers are the youngest. It's a little old town just north of Lansing, about a half hour
So little farm town, you drive through it, just a village limits.
Yep, it's a blinking light.
Yeah.
Yep, hit the pump and dump. That's the gas station there on the corner. That's what we called it. It was the pump and dump. You know?
So how would you describe like your childhood? And when I say that, I'm saying, let's say 18 and under.
18 and under?
Yeah.
Well, it was just me and my mom till I was, I believe, 5. She started dating a guy. So, and I don't really remember a whole lot about that.
So your parents were split up?
Well, I don't know my real dad. Okay. I met him. I say that. I met him once. I met him once when I was 16. And the first thing he said to me was, never wanted kids. The only reason I have you, the only reason you are here is because your mom begged me.
He actually said that to you?
Mm-hmm. When I was 16. But no, so I was adopted when I was 7 from my first stepdad. And they were married up till I was about 13. So I want to say basically from 8 to 13 was interesting. And I say that, used to mess around with my babysitter when I was 8. That's when that's when sex entered my life. I was like 8, 9 years old.
Wow.
Messing around with a babysitter. She was 16, 17 at the time, I think. It was one of my mom's friend's daughters.
Yeah.
And then obviously that led into just that road of no respect for anybody around me, I guess is the easiest way to say that.
Yeah.
My stepdad turned out to not be very nice. So my little brothers, there's, we call them Dugan. Those are the nicknames, right? So you got Gare Bear, Dugan, Princess, and I'm Donkey.
Yeah.
You know why you call me Donkey?
Yeah.
Because it's not polite to call a kid a jackass in public.
Wow.
So
That's what your stepdad called you?
Mm-hmm. Wow. So I was Donkey. Even before the movie came out.
Yeah.
So, I didn't have a Shrek when I was young. So, it's funny because I got one now.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so.
Time out. What did your mom say about that? Like,
my mom, so
during that,
their relationship was, I don't know. My mom and my dad, they didn't have the best.
Yeah.
To say I don't remember a lot of my childhood, there's vague. Ever since when I gave my life to Christ, I asked him, I said, I want to understand, where were you? Where were you? And my mom, she tried. You know, we went to church every now and then. It wasn't I don't remember going to church every Sunday. I'm pretty sure we did the Easter thing. But back to my parents, their relationship wasn't the best. My dad was mentally abusive, physically to me. And then so my mom, she would bury herself into books. She would go disappear remember the 5-inch love novels? Oh, Fabio. Yeah, Mom, that's where she would disappear. My dad, my stepdad, I call him dad because he was the one I knew.
Dad you knew.
He was the one I knew. He, like I said, he was abusive, mentally, more than physical, but there was a lot of physical. My sister and my brothers, I was set aside. I was the sheep. I was the black sheep. But when my mom found a letter and some flowers, and she thought it was for her, but it was for my dad, from his boyfriend. So there was that thing. And I didn't find that out till I was, I don't know, probably 17, 16. So, but it explained a lot. Yeah. Like, it explained a lot.
Yeah.
Things really started coming together when that happened. That was about the time I found that out, was the time I left. But I was raised when they split up when I was 13. I was living in a house where beer, I mean, really mainly it was more beer. There was a lot of alcohol in the house, and it was no big deal to have people. I had people over, and it was 6 or 7 people would wake up in the living room. Well, nobody remembers passing out because you don't know what got dropped in your drink.
Oh man.
So I had my first oxycodone and beer when I was 14.
Oh man. So I mean, at that point, even you were already.
I was living the life.
Yeah.
I say living it. It was. There was fun. There was it's the question earlier. Where was God?
Yeah.
And it was in a friend of mine's mom.
Huh.
She lived. I'm not going to say the same life. She was my mom when my mom couldn't.
Yeah.
And my dad, he did a number on her.
Yeah.
He really, it was, I guess I should go back. When they split up, I went with her. And we lived in and I say a small town, it was a suburb of Flint.
Okay.
And I don't know anybody that knows anything about Flint.
Yeah.
Outside of bad water, there's a lot of really bad people there too.
Yeah.
It's no different in Dallas. It's got its good and its bad.
Yeah.
And say that. Well, when I was, and I'd go back and forth to my dad's, and I remember one time, just kind of nutshell, give you an idea. As I remember watching two guys I used to run around with run across the parking lot in the apartment complex we were living in with 3 cops chasing them, jumping a fence. We used to take cars and go joyriding, and
it was wheels off then.
it was
I mean, so really early on, I mean, the sexual stuff, and then alcohol,
drugs, and rock and roll.
Alcohol was right there, and drugs, and wheels off. And your mom was kind of
working 3 jobs.
Working 3 jobs, and I mean, yeah, you can't. It's hard to get your mind around what that'd be like in her perspective too. Yeah. And then you found out your stepdad had a boyfriend. And and then they split up when you were like 13.
I was 13 when they split up. Yes, sir.
And when did you said something about you left?
I left when
you just left.
I bounced. I was like a hot check, and I hit the moon. I left for 9 years. Nobody knew where I was.
When did you leave?
I left when I was 17.
You just packed. So explain your thought process. Like, explain what was going on to lead up to that. Were you just sick of it? Like, were you just sick of the environment? Sick of the...
Oh yeah. Everywhere I went was toxic.
Yeah.
Everything in my life. When my mom couldn't handle me no more, she sent me back to my dad. She's like, I just can't do this.
Okay.
I can't do this. I was troubled.
Yeah.
I was lost. I had the role models I had in my life were not the best. When I first left my dad's, I moved in with some friends of ours. It was a family friend.
Did they know you were leaving? Did you tell them, hey, I'm out of here?
No.
Or did you literally just run away?
Well, see, here's the fun part, is in the state of Michigan, just like anywhere really nowadays, if at the age of 17, and don't take this and go do this because you're living in a bad situation, God.
Yeah.
But in the state of Michigan, at the age of 17, you're not tried as an adult. You're not tried as a child. You're tried as an adult.
Oh, okay.
Well, a child is a runaway. An adult is just missing. There's the difference. They won't send you back.
So you were just missing.
I was
because you were 17.
I was. That's what I was waiting for. I moved out when I was 16. I literally moved out. I told my dad, I was like, I'm moving out of here. I can't do this no more. It sucks. I'm moving in with Steve. It was a friend of the family. And I woke up one day, and that's how I knew I had to go somewhere. I woke up, I was living in the basement, and his wife at the time came to the top of the stairs screaming. And when I looked up, she was covered in blood. He was in a rage. He was in a beaten rage, drunk, severe alcoholic. So there was that.
Wow.
So that was, we both ended up going to the hospital that night. And then when I got out, I was living with my uncle. And that's the other thing, is I grew up, my dad was not the farmer. My uncle and my grandpa were.
Oh, okay.
And they lived just next county over. It was like 20 minutes away. Well, I tried to spend as much time as I could there. So I grew up on the farm life. I ain't afraid of work, ain't afraid of sweat.
Oh, yeah.
Dirt tastes just fine.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. But it was even there, like that was, I remember being little, watching my granddad and my uncle fight, just get after it. My grandpa was a teenager in the Depression, so he had that hold on to everything mindset, very stern, very afraid of losing all of it. Still held on to a lot of that. But yes, so when that happened, when that couple turned into not the best place to be, I had just made a friend. Just had a job doing drywall, and a friend of mine, I went to him and I said, I packed a backpack. I didn't have anything. I didn't have any money. I had change of clothes, like just a change of clothes.
Yeah.
I left with the underwear I was wearing. That's all I had.
I mean, you weren't in high school at the time. I mean, you were
dropped out in the 8th grade. Yep, dropped out in the 8th grade.
What were you doing? I mean, so sorry, I know I'm bouncing around a little bit, but
do it.
8th grade kind of
I'm a squirrel. I'll follow you.
into the 8th grade to like high school. Where you just, what were you doing like during the day? Just making trouble?
Yeah.
Or working?
Yeah, I would help out on the farm.
Oh, okay.
I
got you.
And then I went and got a job.
Okay.
I was doing first legal job I had, W-2, was I was doing irrigation on golf courses.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So you were just working early.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I've been working.
Yeah.
What I was raised to do.
So
yeah.
Okay, so back. Sorry,
you're good.
I needed that for my story.
Yeah.
The story gap in my head.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so then you told your dad.
Mm-hmm. I told him, I was like, I'm moving out. I'm going.
And
to
you
live
just
with some
met your
friends
friend. Okay.
And I just barely met him. Knew him for a little bit, and I went and I says, I'm leaving. He's like, where are you going? I don't know. Somewhere.
Hey, y'all. I just want to make an observation. When I see someone going through a legal situation, it seems like there are way too many unknowns. Well, the Allen firm provides legal guidance so that you can make a great decision, come to a resolution, and be at peace. For more information about the Allen firm, visit allenlawfirm.com.
You didn't really have a plan.
None at all.
Just like, I'm sick of it, I'm out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Golly, I'm floored by that.
I left, and my brother, I mean, just to jump on him for a second, he told me, he just started talking a few years ago again, and he said, I forgive you, but I'm mad. I hated you. You left.
Oh, I didn't even think about that aspect of it. Yeah.
I didn't either until I was talking to my brother in
this is one of the twins.
30s. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the other one talking to?
I haven't talked to him in 20 years.
Really?
Yeah, because of his girlfriend.
He was mad. You're this one brother.
Oh, well, because of what me and his girlfriend were doing.
So that's that one, and the other one was just still ticked until a few years ago he can't.
And then we finally got to talk about it. And my sister, my sister's raised. She's the only girl, 3 boys, so she's got that. She's rough.
She's got some grit.
She's got some grit for sure. But so my buddy, he goes, well, I have an aunt. I'm thinking about leaving too. I have an aunt that lives in Nevada.
Nevada?
I ain't never been there. Let's go.
17.
And I lived that, and that was my phrase ever since. Hey, you want to go? Ain't never been there. Let's go. I've never been there. Let's go. And I left. I walked.
So you and your friend went to Nevada?
Yep. Las Vegas, of all places.
Oh my gosh. What a place for a 17-year-old to go.
Oh, buddy. Let me tell you, I ain't never seen.
Oh, man.
I ain't never seen.
Well, how'd you get there, first off, before we get there?
So it's, okay.
Because you don't have any money, you don't have any clothes. So
at this point, my decisions are spot on for the worst ones you can make, right?
Oh, wow.
Well, they get better. So we leave, and my buddy, mind you, he's 6'4". We call him Pumpkin.
Yeah.
He's 6'4", and he's a big man, just big around. And he drove a Ford Festiva. If you know what that is, it's not a big car. He had to put the seat of the back down, and So he says, if we're going to Nevada, we need a new vehicle. So he went and he wrote a check.
Oh gosh.
For a night, for a 19, because that was back in that day. It was a 1996 Suburban two-tone. Remember the black and gray Suburban?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we brand new.
Really?
Had 150 miles on it. Yeah.
I was sitting there calculating in my head. I don't think that little car's going to make it to Nevada, but no. I know what he did. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get to Missouri, And was it Branson? I think we were in Branson. And but anyhow, it doesn't matter. We're in Missouri. So I called my dad, and I told him, "Hey, I'm just letting you know."
Your stepdad?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna let you know, I'm out. I'm done. Oh, and I almost forgot. My mom got married again when I was 16 to this other guy.
Okay.
My second stepdad. Better than first. Well, let's see. Yeah, he's just better than both of them.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of some witty way to put it, but my wit's broken right now.
He's better.
He's a lot better. Tony, I love him. He's a good guy. He makes my mom happy.
Yeah.
We had our issues. I had to show him how to. He'll love this if he ever listens to it. But I had to show him how to tuck in his shirt and look cool back in the day.
I'm about to show me that when I get out of here.
Oh,
My kids still pick on me about that.
It's not the same today as it was yesterday. Trust me. No, but so my mom and I resented anybody.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Anybody, everybody. I had.
You couldn't see it as like, man, I'm happy for mom.
Right now,
it was like
I do now.
Now you do. Yeah.
But then, no.
Okay. No, I appreciate you saying that.
Everybody left.
But you called stepdad one in Missouri and said, I was out.
Hey, I'm leaving. He goes, yeah, okay. So just so you know, I need you to call this guy. Here's a phone number. I know you're driving around in a brand new 2-tone Suburban. Tells me the color and pops off the license plate number. How would you know that? I need you to call this guy. He's with the FBI. He's part of the FBI. And
oh my gosh!
Yeah, that check. Yeah, it was big.
Yeah,
and it was hot.
Oh yeah.
So
that's an amount deal. Like it's
yeah. So I'm like, what? And I just hung up. Like in the conversation, I hung up. And I turned around and I confronted him about it, and he goes, No. We're good. Dude, he just told me what the license plate number was. I don't believe you.
Yeah.
So, and we're at a Pilot truck stop. So I bust out the old thumb, and I hopped a ride.
You parted ways with him?
I did. And you know what's fun?
Gosh.
Is I still went to Nevada.
Oh my gosh.
Still went to Nevada.
Oh, man.
I jumped in a truck with this guy.
I don't know if I can hear the rest of this story. Well, I know where it ends. That's was the good part.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm telling
what happened to him, though? Time out on that.
Do you have any idea? Back up in Nevada.
Okay.
So
never mind. Continue the story.
He comes back.
You got your thumb up. You're
so I go and I talking to these truckers, and I'm like, where are you going? Wherever. It was the first guy I talked to. Well, I'm headed into Nevada. Sweet.
So am I.
That's where I was going. So,
oh my God.
So I get in and I'm riding with this guy. Mind you, I still have $0.
Yeah.
$0. And we get in Nevada real late at night. And
was that a few days later or a day later or how long?
It's
a long haul, right?
We stopped for we argued in that parking lot for about an hour.
Oh, okay.
So, and it took, it was late. It was next morning.
Yeah.
So it was still dark when, probably 4 or 5 in the morning.
Okay.
When I got in there. And, it was really cool coming over the hill. Oh, yeah. I ain't never seen that many light bulbs on a town in my life. And we pulled in and, right there, dropped me off at the truck stop. And I just started walking, found myself on the old strip. The old strip at night is not the place to be.
Oh, my gosh.
There's ladies of the night.
Yeah.
We call them that.
Yeah.
There's people slinging and they're offering party favors and whatnot, and and so I was there for about 8 months. And
so what'd you do though? Do you remember not one? Like, where did you go?
That was the first time I ever slept outside.
Oh, really?
Without calling it a camping trip.
Your first night of being homeless, basically.
My first homeless night, and that lasted 2 nights. I ended up getting a job. Got a job doing going door to door, selling gift check books. You remember the coupon books back in the day? Well, we're about the same age. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Well, it was and it's funny too. It's for the NMCLC. It's the National Missing Children's Locate Center.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? What the heck? They didn't really.
I can't make that up.
They did.
I can't make that up.
Oh, they didn't. And you know what's funny? They didn't ask you where's your parents at, or where'd you
know what's funny is that just clicked.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was the National Missing Children's Locate Center, and I was going door to door at 17 years old. I was 17 for about 3 months, 4 months.
Okay.
Oh,
Did you make any money doing it?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enough to.
Well, you sell them
enough-
for $10, you get $5 a day.
Okay. Okay.
And but come to find out, when you go knocking on these doors, you know who's home during the day? Housewives.
Yeah.
And I was a 17-year-old farm boy.
Yeah.
I was chiseled up. They grew fond of me.
Yeah.
So that was a thing for a while. I did that. So one of the things I need to back up. I forgot. I forgot a thing. It's kind of goes into some of the drug abuse. Is I got in a car accident when I was 16. I had my license for 2 weeks, and like I said, I'm a squirrel. I
Yeah.
go all over the place. I was picking up a friend. I was just got done. It was a day. I helped my uncle. We're putting hay up, small square bales. We did I think it was 1,500 that day. Started early in the morning. We got done at about 6 or something. It was dry, so there was big dust. We were putting it all. It was already baled. We were just putting it up in barn, putting it up in the loft, and it was real dry and dusty. Well, a friend of mine called and said she needed a ride. I just got my license. I'm excited. I want to go. My uncle, brand new car. He just bought this car. I'm gonna borrow it. I get down the road, about between. Sheila worked in Lansing, in Hazlitt. Sorry, she worked in Hazlitt, and I was driving, and I passed out from heat exhaustion. It was my first bout of heat exhaustion.
Oh,
and I
wow.
passed out, and I hit a tree. I hit it on the driver's side, so I hit the tail light, or the headlight. Sorry, I'm driving. I hit the headlight, and the door separated from the A-pillar. And the A-pillar is what's your windshield. That's what
okay.
that pillar right there on either
Okay.
side. And then a B-pillar is the one right there. It's what holds your door.
Okay.
Well, the door separated. It never opened, and it never busted off the hinges. But my face, when I hit, I bounced off the airbag, and my face went up into that 8-inch gap.
Yeah.
And I split my face wide open. I was in the hospital for about 3 months.
Golly.
I had didn't break a bone one. Split my face wide open down.
Yeah.
I almost lost my eye. It looks like a little bit of hamburger. They took a little piece of skin off the
Yeah.
old booty
Yeah.
and filled in the gap. If you can kind of
Oh,
see it a
yeah.
little bit right there, but it goes up and it comes up and it goes on top of my head. So I went through that. Well, when I was still living with my dad at the time, and that's when it started really, everything started getting out of control. So I was getting headaches, like really bad migraines, and they gave me pill form morphine. They would give me 5 at a time. Well, here's where God was in that one, and I didn't see him not till here a few years ago. My neighbor's daughter hit the exact same tree and died on 2 years to the day I hit it.
Oh man.
To the day.
So you just been.
Yeah. So from there, and then I was popping those. I was running out of morphine. My dad was already getting OxyContin back then for his back and his wrist. I mean, he worked on the line at GM.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a lot of repetitive for them.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
they get destroyed. So
Yeah.
we were swapping pills, and it was great.
Yeah.
So back to Nevada. So I was sitting there. I was running around selling gift checkbooks, hanging out with a bunch of housewives, and then gambling.
How'd you get in? Like,
I just walked in.
Huh.
If you own it,
yeah.
hey,
confidence.
confident. I was growing beard. I had facial hair for a while,
Yeah.
long time. But fun part of so I was living in a hotel or a motel.
So at that part, you made enough to
Yeah.
get by, and
Yeah,
then you
I was making-
rented a hotel.
I rented a hotel for 2 days, and my first day out, I made $150. Well, the great thing about Nevada, especially in Las Vegas, I didn't know this, but you can rent a hotel room for an hour.
I knew you were going there, man.
I didn't know. I had no idea. I walk in there, and I was like, I just need a room. They're like, okay, for how long? Oh, I don't know. How much is a day? You want it for a day? I'm like,
Oh, God.
okay, a week. How much for a week?
Yeah.
You want it for a week? We only do by the hour. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I don't get it. Because I'm some young dumb country boy from Michigan with a class of 36.
Yeah.
A town for anybody around. The town the size of Toller.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's bigger now. But anyhow, so yeah, I ended up renting this room. He gave it to me I could afford a couple days. So I got a couple days and I was sitting there, and that was my introduction to the walkers. That's what I ended up calling them.
Yeah.
And it's funny. Never touched one.
Yeah.
Never touched one.
Yeah.
I didn't have to.
Yeah.
But it was funny because I was sitting there and I was talking to this old man that was in the room next to me. He lived there too. That was my introduction to gambling. When they'd come in the gate, we'd bet and see what room they'd go to. It was like I got 20 on 103 or I got 40 on this. Like it was bingo.
That's a weird way to get started into gambling, man.
Hey, I didn't know what I was doing. So yeah. So anyhow, I was on it was the Pink Elephant. It's on the new end of the strip. It's just past the Luxor on the left-hand side if you're ever looking for it.
And hopefully you're not, for anybody who's listening to
this.
Just
go stay at the Luxor. Just go stay at the Luxor, for sure. So
you're 18.
Nope.
No, 19 by then?
Barely.
Okay, barely 18. Yeah, okay.
Barely.
That's right, you just got there.
Yeah, just got there. So, like I said, I was there I was 17 for about 3 months. So, I lived there for about 8 years, and the only 8 months.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I was like, dude, you're working my story out.
No, I was there for about 8 months, and the only reason I left is I had a security guard tell me I have two options. You can leave, or I take you to jail.
Okay, and give us country boys and all that, the naive. So
at the age of now 18, you're not allowed to sit in the casinos in Las Vegas and gamble, let alone hit the jackpot on the penny slots. That's the trick. I sat at the penny slots, and I just play pennies.
Yeah.
You feed it, they give you booze.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Well, I made one elderly lady very, very happy one day. That bad boy went to screaming. It was 150,000 pennies coming, $150,000 worth of pennies.
Oh my God.
That thing started spitting, and I got up to her and walked away. Security guard stopped me at the door, and he was like, "So, can I see your ID?" Pat pockets, you know. I was like, "Oh, I left that in my hotel down at the MGM."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay," and he just let me walk out. Got down. I had a friend that worked at the Luxor.
Yeah.
By this time, I'd made started meeting people, and by the time I barely got into the door, and the guy walks up to me and goes, "Can I see your ID?" Do the pocket pat. Man, I left that at the MGM, and I kid you not, I turn around, I walk out. I had another friend that worked over at the Sahara. We got to pass the MGM to get to it.
Yeah.
Guess who stops me? The security guard at the MGM.
Really?
He comes out, and I'm telling you, that was God again.
Yeah.
Because he walks up and he goes, "Kevin," called me by name. Don't know you.
Yeah.
I just keep going, and he called me Keven Hallock. Called me by my last name. I was like, and I just stopped. I'm like, okay, he knows something. Turn around and he goes, "Okay, I don't know why you ran. Don't know what you're running from, but here you go. You're 18, so you can go to jail, or you can leave." I said, "When do I need to be out?" He says, "Midnight." Okay. Called the company I was working for, selling those gift check books, and I said, "Hey, I'm out. I'm leaving. I gotta get my stuff. I'm out of here right now." And he goes, "Well, I got some guys leaving to open up an office over in San Jose. Ain't never been there before."
Oh my gosh.
So
we're going to California.
Here we come.
Oh my goodness.
So we're going to California, and so
you left that night?
I did.
Wow.
I did, because they were leaving. They were leaving. They left at we left at 11:30 that evening. And that way, so when we hit L.A., it was, okay, if you've ever been to L.A., that place does not die.
Yeah.
It never slows down.
Yeah.
But that's why you go at night, because it slows down a little bit so you can get through. Well, anyhow, so I get there. I'm like, all right, so I hook up. Oh, and my buddy Lee, I got to remember him. Punkin.
Yeah.
So he showed up. He was working in another office on the other side of Nevada selling these gift check books. He was one of the guys that was going into California to open up this other office. So I'm like, okay, I told him, I was like,
So I guess they got the Suburban back.
oh, he still had it. Yeah.
I'm kidding.
No, he still had it. He still had it.
Guys.
So I'm sitting there on this guy that the manager in the office that I was working out of. He was a drunk, big time drunk. Yeah. I turned into at 18. I was a functioning alcoholic.
Really?
Yeah.
Drinking all the time.
Yeah, it was just, and I could get up in the morning, go to work.
Yeah.
Do the thing. Well, so I call him, and I was like, hey, I'm going with you. I don't know if I can't remember their names now, but so-and-so told you I'm going to go with you. He's like, all I heard was slurring. He was toasted. He couldn't drive. Well, so I go to his house, and there's that Suburban. Huh. What is he doing? Oh, I know that truck. And sure enough, he's dragging him. He's carrying him. He's so drunk. He's carrying him out of the house, my buddy, Bunkin. Carrying him out of the house, putting him in the passenger seat. Hey, man, they told me you were coming. That's great. And I'm like, what in the world? So that was a conversation. Mind you, I am not the smartest kid. I'm dumb country kid. I'm like, dude, what have you been doing? He goes, I've been working with these guys for the last 8 months. Me too. What are the odds? Hey, I need you to drive his car into San Jose. That's where we're headed. I said, okay. So we get into Death Valley, and that car turned into the biggest hunk of turd. It was a 1985 Chevette. And you ever see that sign, the next gas? If you ever been through Death Valley, there is a sign that says last gas station for like 150 miles or whatever it is. So you stop. Yeah. Top it off, and we get through, the air conditioner goes out on it.
Oh, and it's for those who haven't been through.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, I remember driving through one time we were alone. It was close to 130 degrees when we were driving through it.
Stupid.
Yeah. It was bad. Radiator water everywhere. Every like quarter mile or something.
Yeah. So, so I get through it. That was miserable. Windows are down, and we get into LA. We pull over. We get another tank of gas. Mind you, they're paying for everything. Yeah. This company's paying for everything. I had like $30 in my pocket at the time.
Unstuck Coaches hates it when movement and progress in a person's life or business is stuck, or frozen, or slowed, or just stopped altogether. Well, we have found a solution. Unstuckcoaches.com. They offer a variety of coaching services to get you or your business moving again. Check out unstuckcoaches.com. So I guess when you were leaving, you didn't have to close your bank accounts down?
I didn't have them. It was all cash. It was all cash.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was literally, I lived out of a backpack.
Yeah. So you roll into LA.
So I roll in, so we come in and we get into LA, and he says, all right, we need to get on 101. 101, it's central, it goes up, and then it takes you into, takes you up right at the center of California. Well, I ain't never seen that many lanes in a highway in my life. In my life. And we come up to this Mixmaster whatnot. I don't know what that thing was. Someone was drunk when they built that thing.
It's like 8 lanes going in a circle. Like,
man alive. I mean, the bridges, there was like 13 of them stacked on each other. And I'm like, I don't even know which one I need. The signs were confusing. I didn't know. So, and there's like, when you come in, there's like 15 lanes going one direction. Yeah. And nobody cares. Yeah. They don't care. Like, I need to get over. Got my blinker.
Aren't you going to let me over?
Yeah. No, they don't know they don't care. So, so I'm driving this car first, and I haven't drove the whole time I left. So we're driving. Next thing you know, I end up on Highway 1, and I'm coming down the coastal highway. Most beautiful thing you ever seen in your life. Love it. It gets dark. This car, I'm still driving this little hunk of turd, and we're going up and down these hills, and the carburetor's stuck. So if the carburetor float isn't allowed to, it'll run rich when you get, you get up into high altitudes. It'll stall out on you. So you got to hurry up and hope you get to the top of it, and you can come down and it'll start and you can get back up the other side. Well, it finally got to the point I was getting in there and I was jacking with it, trying to. And I'm no mechanic by any means. Give me baling twine and duct tape, and we'll make things work.
Yeah.
But to say I know a mechanic, not me. Yeah. So finally I get just to the other side of San Luis Obispo.
Yeah.
Up at the top of this hill, car won't start for nothing. So I walk 2.5 miles back to the nearest exit, get into the Chevron, and I start out, I'm like, hey, I need help. Like, car's broke, this and that and the other. And that guy looked at me and goes, don't care. I'm like, oh, okay. I still got $30. So I go and I make a phone call. Hey, I'm stuck. They're like, okay, well, we haven't got this is before cell phones.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
Yeah, we got pagers.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm dialing, I'm paging. Finally. So I have to, back in the day, this is payphone days. So I have to sit at this payphone. You can't move. Like, I'm waiting for them to call this phone number. Because that's the one I put in the pager.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Huh. There's a McDonald's right across the road. Can I make it?
So they won't see this ring and pay somebody to stand by for you for a minute.
Yeah. So anyhow, to shorten that one up, I end up, cops towed that car to that gas station. And they took every dollar I had. I grabbed a lawnmower and started mowing a couple yards just so I could get the stupid car to the gas station. And it was 4 days. Took me 4 days. And finally they called me back. 4 days later. They waited and called me back 4 days later. So I slept in that car by that payphone, trying to figure out what's going on. Didn't have the money, not my car. And then finally when they called me, you know what they told me? Well, just go find a job and then get a bus ticket. What? I'm not very smart.
This is your employer, right?
This is my employer,
okay,
yes.
checking.
They're A+, let me tell you. So I do. I go I just mowed a couple more yards and got a Greyhound ticket. That Greyhound ticket, I think it was like $40 or something like that. I go to San Jose and I go find these guys. You know, the ones that left me stranded.
Yeah.
So I find them. I get a hold of them. They're like, here's the address. Here's the office we're in. Oh, it's in a high rise and we're in the basement. So I go and I'm like, all right, cool. Where are we staying? Where's the hotel? Or where's the whatnot? Oh, we're staying here for right now. So we're staying in this office.
In the office.
In the office. Well, I don't know if you know this or not. Being a lawyer, you might. That's illegal. Yeah, I didn't know that. So we're staying.
Can't live in the lease for your law tip of the day.
Yeah,
Commercial leases, you can't live.
Just know that. So we're staying there, and then my buddy, Paul Pumpkin, he wants to go adventure around this building. Great idea. Let's do that. So we go adventuring around this building, and we're in this building for 2 months.
And you're selling gift cards, selling the books,
walking around
the building, just
getting in trouble because we don't have a freaking peddler's permit to do it.
Yeah.
They frown upon that. They want their money. They want
you're nosing around all the other offices in the high rise.
Oh yeah. Sure, why not?
Yeah. Of course.
Of course. 18 nosy kid.
Yeah.
So one night we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, one of the guys that was with us, there was three of us, the manager, Pumpkin, and me. Next thing you know, he comes barreling down the hall and comes in, shuts the door, and he locks it real fast. What's going on? He goes, somebody's coming. It's like 7:30. This place is shut down, right? And all of a sudden, you hear people talking on the other side of the door. Yeah, I think they're in here. Uh-oh. Well, Pumpkin, when I call him Pumpkin, we're talking 450, 500 pound Pumpkin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, he's a monster man.
Yeah.
He just leans up against the door.
Yeah.
Like they're not coming in. And he keeps locking it. Every time they pick the lock, he locks it back. I'm like, is that spring loaded? Like there's this whole conversation going on the other side. And I'm freaking out. Like, I don't know what's going on. So then all of a sudden, the other guy, the manager, he sneezes. all right, get the torch. We'll cut the hinges off. So I'm like, no, no, this is already bad enough.
Yeah.
Like, so I started, I was like, all right, get out of the way. Just let him in.
Yeah.
All this jazz. And we go to the jail. We go to the police station. That was my second time. First time sitting in cuffs. Actually, I take that back. I did a lawn job. Tore up my neighbor's yard in a big old 4x4 truck that I had when I was a kid.
So second time.
That was the second time I was sitting. Second time in handcuffs. And I told him everything. I was like, look, A, B, C, and D ain't got nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this is what I was told. This is what they're doing. This is what this and that. And I ain't got nothing on any of it. I rolled. I was a snitch.
Yeah.
I ain't even going to lie.
Well, I was actually thinking, though, like you're talking about God moments earlier. There's actually a principle there. I mean, it's confession. Yeah. It's just telling the truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean.
And so that cop, I sat there for a while, and I was there for about 2 hours. And he goes, all right, we got everything we need from you. Have a good day. Where am I supposed to go? Don't care. Go home.
Yeah, I don't have a home.
I don't have one of them. So, right back to the street. I did that for 4 years.
Just living wherever?
Just living. I lived under a bridge.
For that long?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I lived under a bridge. Pop in and out of men's shelters. Clean up. Just had random jobs. Mind you, by the time I was...
Were you begging and stuff? Or?
Oh, yeah, I was panhandling big time. Yeah. Tienes cambio. For all you Spanish speakers, spare any change? That was, I mean, it was, I did that.
What was that like, though? I mean, because I really haven't engaged in a conversation too long with somebody who's done it that long. What was it like? Were you, like, intoxicated the whole time, or was it?
Pretty much.
Really?
Pretty much.
Same spot you went? Same?
Pretty much. It was, well, it started out, at first, it was I would sleep behind bushes.
Oh, okay.
I'd go to a flea market and I'd buy a blanket or a sleeping bag, sleep behind a bush, find somewhere secluded, and then next thing you know, I find, you start meeting all the other rugrats running around, and lived under a bridge, big steel plate, slide it out of the way, crawl up in there. It was on a on-ramp.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Slept in an on-ramp.
Well, before you talk about getting out of that kind of season, like, what help do people who are in that position need? I mean, can you look back and be like...
Have you ever heard of somebody saying, hey, I went and handed out sandwiches?
Uh-huh.
Them people.
Really?
It's them people.
I've always wondered, is money really... I mean, giving people money and that, does that help, really?
Worst thing to do. Someone in that position, it's the worst thing you can do.
But food's helpful, obviously. Always. Yeah. Why is it the worst to give money? I mean, just because...
Why? Because, so we used to... I could go into Safeway and I could steal whatever I needed. I'd walked out with big racks of steak. Oh, we ate good. We'd be big thick cut steaks, big a gallon of whatever whiskey, whatever alcohol.
So you could get and grab what you needed as far as some of that stuff.
Necessities, living
but
necessities.
Given money,
that's what I needed to go get methamphetamines, pills, heroin.
But how do you help somebody?
Cocaine.
Besides food, so say.
How do you help them?
Yeah, how do you
show up and tell them you love them?
Really? Yeah.
There was the park. So there in San Jose, there's a park, and it's where everybody goes. It's on the street. That's where they go, and that's where you find a lot of your food ministers. They walk around, they're on hand sandwiches. Hey, do you know Lord Jesus Christ?
Yeah.
That was. I mean, I probably got fed more there than I did.
Really?
Anywhere. She showed me that I had a worth.
Wow.
And she stuck around for a minute. For 3 years we dated. got to know her parents. I was sneaking in and out of her house in the middle of the night, so I had someplace to sleep, someplace warm, dry, tempered, controlled area. And got caught. Her mom caught me under her bed. But my sister ended up getting a hold of me. And there's a lot. Through that 4 years, I weigh 240 now. I weighed 135 pounds.
Wow. Yeah, give me the God moment in that 4-year period too that you can look back and reflect on. Like, where was you?
I didn't die.
Yeah. Yeah, you put a note on this little thing we do. And one of the things you said was staying alive was a big moment. I was going to ask you about that.
So first time I died was when I got my car accident, flatlined.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm. And then there was somebody in my life. I can't remember who she was, where she came from, but she was the one that said, "God loves you, Kevin. God loves you." And it was around that time when I got my accident. I walked out of it. When I walked out of the hospital, I was scaring people. My black eyes, scarred. I mean, it was horrible. Frankenstein, fresh made Frankenstein.
Did you connect the dots though between the wreck and God at the time?
No.
Okay.
No. Though. So when I left, when I got kicked out of Las Vegas, and I got into San Jose and left that police station, I told them, I was like, I tested God. I tested him hard. If I'm worth it, if I'm so special, you saved me from whatever that was, whatever you put me through. I blamed him for everything.
Yeah.
I hated him.
Yeah.
You put me through all of that. If I'm so special, you're not going to let me die.
Wow.
He saved me 11 times.
Oh my gosh. You know the number. I mean, wow.
Between alcohol poisoning, I can't, let's put it this way. I've taken so much stuff. I shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
I really shouldn't. I can drink. I used to, not saying I can now.
Yeah.
We'll get back to that. But no, I used to drink a whole gallon of like Bacardi 151. That was the drink of choice. It's 151 proof. I drink that. I'd take handfuls of Oxycontins, Vicodins, Devercet.
Were you just
I was killing myself.
Trying to kill yourself, yeah.
I was suicide through drug use.
Wow.
That's the first time.
Guess he made good on his end of the bargain,
man. And there was the last 4 times I was in. The first 2 times it was I woke up in towns I'd never been to, in hospitals I woke up one time in Sacramento, and I did everything in Santa Cruz, miles.
God, but how do you
miles?
Short of God's intervention, what you're talking about, how do you minister and help people? How do you do that in that situation? Like,
love them.
Yeah, love never fails. We have a mutual buddy who says it all the time.
Love them.
Yeah,
just love him.
What does that mean though? Like, how do you do? Like,
don't leave.
Okay.
Keep showing up. Be there. Be consistent.
Yeah.
Be consistent. It was a chaplain at the church, at the hospital. I tried stepping into churches, and I've been told, you're not welcome here. If you want to come here, you need to clean up first. People like you are not, people like you are not savable.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I've been told some pretty...
So
and mind
harsh.
you, this whole time I hate people. I hate people. I can't talk to men.
Because you're bitter. I mean, you're already angry at God. I mean, we'll get back to the whole question you were asking. Like, okay, but you got caught with a girlfriend for 3 years, kicked out of the house, I guess.
Well,
how did you come out of that season of homelessness?
I had a job. I was working at in that course of 3 years of being with her, she, like I said, she made me feel that was the first person.
She planted some seeds of worth in you.
Yeah, and there was zero church in any of that.
Yeah.
Any of it.
Yeah.
But it was kindness.
Kindness.
So I got a job at just when we started dating. It was a few weeks, and I showed her where I was living. She told me I could do better. And so I went and got a job at Round Table Pizza.
Huh.
And I started as a pizza maker. And then I worked up to a pizza cutter. And then I worked up to a pizza maker lead, super, and then we came back. I started rolling dough, making all the skins and stuff like that, all the pizza doughs. I'd get there at 4:00 in the morning, just high as a kite, and ready to rock and roll. And I would do everything throughout the day, and I did that for a while. And I was very toxic for that relationship. I pulled her into my world.
Yeah.
My vacuum was stronger than hers. And so, just there was a lot of sex, a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol. Yeah. Not just with her, with everybody.
Yeah.
But so I did that for a while, and I ended up getting an apartment, and started coming out of a lot of that, and bought my first cell phone when I was 21.
Okay.
Did that whole.
Yeah.
Then my sister got a hold of me. She found me 8 years later.
Wow. She
in
been
California.
looking?
She's been hunting me ever since I left.
How did she get a hold of you? You got a call or something? Or
she put a missing persons report out on me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My sister paid thousands of dollars looking for me.
Wow. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Me and my sister don't get along, but I love her to death.
Yeah.
Especially for that.
Yeah.
And the only, what she told me? Grandpa's dying. Mean man. He's dying. So,
Was that your biological grandpa? Okay.
Don't know any of them.
Okay.
The only biological affiliation I have, 100%, is my mother.
Okay.
That's it.
But she tells you grandpa's dying.
Yep. He's not doing good. He's dying. So, at this point, when my sister got a hold of me, I was not with my girlfriend at the time. I was actually living with a guy, because things got really, it took a bad turn.
Mm-hmm.
A bad turn. There wasn't nothing or nobody I wouldn't do to get what I needed.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. So there was a little bit of that going on.
Yeah.
But when my sister got a hold of me, he bought me a plane ticket. No, he bought me a bus ticket, a round trip. Mm-hmm. You're coming back. Okay.
Wow. And
I went and I walked into my granddad's funeral. First time I've seen anybody in about 8 years, right at. I'm weighing 135 pounds with polka dot hair.
Really?
I had polka dotted hair.
What was...
The guy I was staying with owned a salon.
Really?
So I stopped working at the pizza parlor and became a receptionist at a salon. Yeah.
Was your mom there?
Nope.
Okay.
Nobody knew where I was. My
mom.
No.
I mean, when you rolled back into Michigan.
No. She shows up a little later.
Okay.
So I come home and nobody knew who I was. I mean, I was unrecognizable.
Yeah.
But I was there for, I don't know, maybe a week. And I went back. And then it was that bus ride back. There was this old vet. It was a diabetic. Didn't take any medication. You like vodka? Love vodka.
Yeah. Absolutely. You're like, absolutely.
Absolutely. So, but I didn't have, that's all we had. That's all I had was we just had vodka. That was it. Well, we're sitting on the back seat of this Greyhound bus, right next to the bathroom. Don't ever sit on the back seat of the Greyhound bus next to the bathroom. It's the worst place to be ever. That and under bridges. But but he ended up going in. He ended up having a a diabetic stroke or something like that, or a seizure, because he was drinking a crap ton. I mean, we drank a lot of vodka. a lot. And next thing you know, he wasn't good. Bus pulled over, ambulance, cops, everybody was there. He almost died.
Did that do something to you though on the way back?
It did. It was that moment. I didn't go back. We were in Utah.
Oh, really?
I was in Utah, of all places to be. The Mormon state.
Yeah.
And no offense to any of you Mormons out there.
That's awesome.
I was out of cigarettes.
Yeah.
I went in to go to the gas station. I got lectured for buying them cigarettes. This lady was not going to give me them cigarettes till she told me everything that God told her to tell me.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a God moment too, man. I love that. That lady might have been an angel as far as you know.
Oh,
She at least got on your radar.
she did. She lit me up. She lit me up. So yeah.
But you decided
I walked out without them cigarettes too. She wasn't going to let me have them.
But you decided because of all that event
I did. I saw
to
myself.
not go back. Oh, really?
So just before I met that girl, I figured I've never done it. Needles are never my big thing. I don't like needles. But I figured out how to do heroin without doing needles.
Yeah.
And living in this on-ramp, there was this girl that we used to use with a lot.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't wake up one day. I woke up next to her. She had OD'd, excuse me.
Yeah.
But she OD'd, and so it was not she was the third person I was around
That OD'd.
that OD'd and didn't come back.
Wow.
Because I mean I wasn't the only one
Yeah.
testing everything that he had.
Yeah.
But that's when they were like, oh yeah, they were freaking out. The EMTs were freaking out on this guy because he was that far.
And you saw yourself
And
somehow.
I saw myself.
You became aware of.
I was like, click.
Wow.
After I walked out of that gas station, that was just like she wouldn't let me have them cigarettes. And I walked back to that bus stop, and that bus driver looked at me and goes, "Come on, we're waiting on you." I said, nope.
You did. You didn't get back in.
Nope, I can't do it.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to stay here for a minute. And I sat there and almost became a Mormon.
Yeah.
Because some guy walked up and started talking. I was like, okay, I can't be here. I got to get home. Where's home? I don't know. I don't know where it's at.
Wow, yeah.
I was lost. And then that was when I quit using meth.
Really?
Everything else I still had an addiction to.
Yeah.
But it was meth. And I was just like, I freaked out. I went through some pretty gnarly DTs.
Yeah.
But that was all back in Michigan. I ended up getting...
So you turned around and went home?
Turned around and went home. And I was home for...
You were 21, 22, something like that?
Yeah.
So
I was right at... Let me get this right here. I was right at 23. Because I moved here when I was 25, and I was in Key West for a little over a year.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
We ain't done traveling.
So let's... Yeah, because we're in Central Texas.
Yep.
You said something about Key West.
Yep.
And
so the short to that...
You now are actively involved in ministry in a church.
Nope.
I want to...
Today.
Yeah.
Amen. Yes.
So
I am sorry.
So hearing that so far. So bring us.
Wrap it up.
You know, in the old VCR when you would hit like 2 times.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to do that. Just I want to rush it, but hit it once.
Okay.
Because I want to know. We got to hear the rest of this.
Oh yeah.
As far as how did the Lord get on your radar? Because remember at the beginning of the question. Or at the beginning, maybe our conversation before, and you said the question you want to know, which a lot of people want to know from the Lord, is where were you and all that?
Yeah.
What were you doing?
So
I don't want to.
No, you're
I'm not
good.
asking you to
You're good. So I go back to Michigan, and I try to I move in with my gay stepdad. He's the only one that would take me.
He took you back. Yeah.
He's the only one that would take me, and we fought. I slept with a baseball bat in his house even then. But anyhow, so we did that. I got two brothers. One of them had a girlfriend. We messed around, that put a big divide between us. I haven't talked to him since. It's been a little over 20 years. So from there, because of that, I left. I got a job selling magazines, going door to door. I am now allowed to go back to Georgia because my warrants are all cleared. And that was so God was there. He showed up at a cop's door. I knocked on a cop's door and he goes, and he wanted to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Like most cops do, questioning who's knocking on the door.
Yeah.
And he basically told me, he's like, oh, you don't have a permit? This is against the law. Go home.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Nutshell. I seen him the next day in another neighborhood. He was on duty, saw me walking, knocking on doors.
Okay.
Guess where I went?
Yeah. Jail again.
Yeah. Well, they came pick me up, and then I went back home.
Michigan?
Yes. Went back to my dad's. My brother was not happy. My dad shipped me down to an old babysitter, not the same one, to Florida. So I went and back, lived on the street again. I lived behind some bushes, about 6 blocks from Disney World, right there in Kissimmee.
Okay.
I was living in because I couldn't find the neighbor or my babysitter, which I found her. She lived in New Haven, and that didn't work. That was toxic. She was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
We were using beer cans, like bags with beer cans as pillows. It was awesome. Yeah, it was a great time. Let me tell you.
Good gracious.
So I ran into a guy. You looking for work? Yeah. I need work. Go to Key West. They're always hiring.
Really?
I said, okay. I went to Key West. I couldn't find a pill one. I couldn't find cocaine. I couldn't find nothing. Nothing. But I had a sign on my bag that says, we'll work for beer. And you'd be surprised at how well that works.
Really?
People are like, I ain't gonna get you. You ain't gotta do nothing because it's a tourist town.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody there.
Yeah.
They're on vacation. Come drink with me.
They don't have any work for you anyway. Yeah.
So I ended up at a t-shirt shop, folding t-shirts for 20 hours a week, and that paid for my rent upstairs in the apartment. He gave me an apartment, someplace to stay. I had a shower, paid for all the bills. Mm-hmm. All I had to do was print t-shirts, fold them, backstock them, go on my merry way. Then I started renting out. I worked at a rental place for electric cars for driving around on vacation, because some people are there for 3 to 7 days or a couple hours. So did that, and then I got a job at Schooner Wharf, which is one of the largest bars down there, as a bar back, making great money.
Really?
I worked so much, I couldn't spend it. Everything I was doing, everywhere I worked at the bar, they had a kitchen, so I ate there for free. I had transportation at the electric car company, and I was paying rent with the t-shirt shop.
You had it made for all purposes, like at that point.
I mean, it was golden. So everything I made, and I was making, anywhere from $900 a night to $1,500 a night as a bar back.
Wow.
Yeah. So like I said, all just went in the bank. I had a girlfriend for either 3 days or 7 or a couple hours. Depends on how long the vacation was or the boat was there.
Yeah.
So, so that worked out. I mean, everything was covered.
Yeah.
It was the best place in the world for a single person.
Yeah.
For a single man that had zero inhibition.
Yeah.
Or ambition. But so I met a girl, and I have a daughter that I've never met, and she's the reason I'm here. That's how I got to Texas. Man. Yep. So she was a few months pregnant. She says, I'm going home. She was from Little Rock.
Okay.
Living in Little Rock at the time. And she came on vacation, and she moved down there because we got to talking on the phone. She showed up, and I'm like, what are you doing? You're ruining this. You're messing up my thing. And so she pulled me in. She said, I'm going to Michigan. I'm going to Stephenville, Texas. I said, oh, I ain't never been there.
Wow.
So how'd it do? We move in with her parents. Gosh. We move in with her parents, and her parents, our relationship was not good. excuse me. It wasn't good at all, and we were sleeping inside. I was this guy. I slept in the bedroom. She slept on the couch.
Yeah.
She's pregnant.
Yeah.
Should have been the other way around. Well, and that's the
100%.
thing too. Is like my moral compass was so skewed. It wasn't even funny. Women were only good for two things.
Yeah.
Sandwiches and babies. That was it.
Yeah.
They weren't companions.
You were twisted. I mean,
It was very, very. I couldn't. It was up to 10 years ago. I actually can have a conversation with a grown man.
Yeah.
I used to not be able to talk to men at all. It was either pure sarcasm or nothing but hatred.
Yeah.
So,
So you're in Stephenville.
so I'm in Stephenville, and she woke up one day and she was gone. She left, and then I met my wife. Now she met my wife. Now we started talking. She wasn't having nothing to do with this guy. Nothing. Oh, I ain't never fought so hard in my life to.
She might have had some good discernment or something.
Oh, buddy, even still today, it's trust me, I love that. I wouldn't be who I am today without her.
Yeah. Praise God.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You want to know what love looks like?
Yeah. Her.
100%, 100%. So I did. I actually met her with another girl sitting on my lap, and I ignored the one on my lap and was just talking to her.
Yeah.
And she was not having. She was like, well, "Whatever, clown. You don't need to come back." And one day I was just hammered, drunk, smashed in her bedroom. Told her I was going to marry her. She thought I was nine kinds of crazy. Mm-hmm. 3 years later,
Wow.
we got married.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, longest relationship I've ever had. Yeah, and
How long y'all been married now?
in May it'll be 16 years. May 3rd, it'll be 16 years.
Coming up, man. That's awesome.
It's right there. So yeah.
So when did the Lord get back on your? You were always on His radar, but
Yeah.
So give us the
When did
spiritual side of this. Like when
Okay.
did you
So-
become a follower? Like when? Because that is a wild past, man.
And that's the clean version.
yeah.
So really, about 20 years ago, I say 19 years. It'll be 19 years this year. Oh, I take that back. Let me do my math real quick. So my daughter's 12. So we helped start a church.
Okay.
My wife's cousin was going to Stonewater in Granbury. And he popped and goes, "Come on, man. You go to church. Places like that don't like people like me." Because that's what I've been told.
You've been told that for sure.
I'm no good there. And trust me, the place is gonna catch on fire if I walk in there.
Oh gosh.
And that's the thing too, is like, because I truly believed I was Satan's one of his best soldiers. I was, so we go, and there's this little old lady talking to this little punk looking kid, and they're just, I love it. And she walked up to me and she said, "It's good to see you. It's about time you made it."
Really? Oh man, that's awesome.
And my mom, let me go back, because God was there one time when I was 16, just before I got in that car accident. Remember the power team?
Oh yeah. Ripping phone books and that.
Blowing up
So
water
they came to
bottles.
Stephenville before.
Yeah, well, they came
Back
to
in the day.
Lansing.
Okay.
And my mom took me to one, and it's like, and we were sitting up on the top balcony, and he pointed at me and says, "Come on, you need to come down here. Yeah. He wants you in his life. He wants to be a part of you. He wants to be in your life." And he walked up there, and he pulled me specifically out of that chair. That was something I forgot.
Wow. Yeah.
So now that we're talking about my buddy,
Yeah.
he did. He pulled me out just before I went down that road. And
Oh, man.
so we go to Stonewater. We're there for a few months, and then pastor had came in, and they planted a church in Stephenville,
Yeah.
and we became a part of that. My wife was the first person to get baptized when it was back at the hotel, and she was pregnant with our daughter
Wow.
the day before she went and had her.
Really?
So
You're on the core church plant team.
yeah, so that goes, and that's where I met Micah.
Okay.
That's
yeah,
how-
our
that's-
buddy
that's-
Micah, who's
yeah.
the co-host of the.
Yeah, love
Okay.
Mike. And that was funny because when you told me, someone said, listen to this podcast. So I started listening to it. I'm like, wait a minute. I know that guy.
Sounds familiar.
I know this guy, Micah. And then I texted you that. Is that Micah Petrie? Is he married to Vanessa?
Yeah, that's him.
I mean, I don't mean to put y'all out there. But yeah, so we meet them and they really got to be with real life people that stayed, that have been in the eye, I'm going to say in the eye of God,
Yeah.
that have been with him, looking and searching for him, clearly a lot longer than I even thought of.
So he literally put you in the middle of
He put me right in the beginning. of it.
people, and in the middle of
So I
Timber Ridge
became-
at the beginning, and the
Yeah. So I'm going to say that's when I became a religious man.
yeah.
That's when I became, oh man, okay, I got a this and I got a that. And,
God, man.
the textbook gots to do's.
That could be the worst statement anybody would ever make.
100%. Come
Okay.
as you are. Come as you
I
are.
became religious.
I became religious
Okay.
12 years ago.
Keep us going now. When did you fall in love with Jesus? Like
2 years ago.
okay. No, yeah, keep going. So Timber Ridge and hang out with there and help start.
We got to where they're at today, right? We
Yeah.
were there that long.
Yeah.
I was hanging out in the parking lot. I was the loud, obnoxious, if I'm into something, I'm blind all in.
Yeah.
And I do it. When I say blind, I'm loud and
Yeah.
obnoxious. Nobody likes the loud and obnoxious guy. I had him pegged. And so we did that. Things went, we moved. Once they got in that building, we started coming to Cornerstone. And then, so we got church hurt there. Mm-hmm. That was the first time I ever been church hurt. Mm-hmm. It really hurts.
Yeah.
It's a physical pain. And then we came here, and again, we got church hurt. Because we're putting everything into people. Right? And I say that because we put everything into people.
Yeah.
We forget.
It's easy to get hurt.
It is.
When you put your hope in a person like that.
Exactly. And we all do it.
Yeah.
Everybody does it. You can't tell me you don't. Go home and look at your wife.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I love my wife to death. And I told her the other day, I said, you know what I realized? I'm not doing it for you. I can't. I'm doing it for him. And she said, I know.
That's awesome.
So we quit. So we quit coming here. And
by here you mean
here
Cornerstone.
Yeah, sorry. So we quit coming, Cornerstone, and a few years goes by, we sell our house. This is during the pandemic, just before COVID comes in. I'm still drinking, I quit smoking pot. So we're drug free now.
Yeah.
I was drinking, still had a horrible, horrible, hateful mouth. Hateful.
Yeah.
That was the one thing. And I'm going to say my mouth was hatred because of what my biggest fear was when I decided to have a relationship. But we're not there yet. So my son, we're living, my in-laws, I quit my job, I'm starting a business, I sold my house, we're building the house. I almost left my wife. It was so much going on. I'm living with my in-laws are great people. You know what? Let me say this. I hated my wife's family when I first met them. When I first met them, I hated them, because they loved each other.
Oh wow!
They actually would bicker. You know how families are.
Yeah.
And then 5 minutes later, it's like, how can you turn around and act like nothing happened?
Yeah.
You hear what he just said to you? Oh,
Yeah.
no, that ain't how this works.
Yeah.
I hated him.
Yeah.
And it's when I met the best influence in my life. My father-in-law wasn't a perfect man. Boy, howdy, he was better than me.
Yeah.
And I owe him a lot. We just lost him back in October.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah. But they sold. He ended up getting sick. They lived out in Timber Hills.
Yeah.
And so he ended up selling. He had quite a bit of land. They sold it, bought a smaller piece because he just got to where he couldn't take care of it.
Yeah.
And so now we all live on this little 22 acres out in Greens Creek. We live in the front yard. So I said, we live in the front yard. So when I say we sold our house, we literally sold our house, moved in with them, and then built a house 400 yards away from them.
Yeah.
When I quit my job at Tarleton, doing, and then started the company I got now, and it was hard. It was really, really hard. A lot of stress.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were, like I said, they were good people. But I mean, it's hard to be king in another man's castle, and it's funny because I can't even be king in his castle.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I come to realize that. That's what I come to realize is like, quit calling yourself a king, because you're not. You're not. But so we get moved into the house, and JR asked my wife, youth pastor here, he says, I think you and Kevin would be good youth leaders. Negative Ghost Rider, flat patterns full. That ain't working. So, and the reason, this is why he asked that question, was our son. He's, at the time he was 13, I believe. We're living with my in-laws, and he comes in our room and he goes, so who's going to take me to youth? There's this thing over at Cornerstone. I really like them people. I want to go back.
This is your 13-year-old son.
This is my 13-year-old son.
What a stud.
Standing up to his dad that has, you'd have thought I raised him military.
Yeah.
I was very mean, spiteful. Yeah. I gave that kid every reason.
Yeah.
You want to talk about strength?
Yeah.
So he comes in, and my wife says, we're sitting in bed. I'll never forget it. We're sitting in bed. Who's taking me to youth? There's this thing over there. It's on Wednesdays at 7 o'clock. You know what my wife's response to that was? That's on the other side of town.
Yeah.
And I just looked at her and said, wait a minute. Did you seriously? No. Stop.
Yeah.
How's that honored him? And that right there was the first time. Just realizing this for the first time now, that was the first time I actually looked for him.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. You made you stand. I mean,
it's like, no. She goes, okay, when? And so he'd been going for, I don't know, a few months. I don't know the number to it, but he was going for a while. And then he says, comes in, we got to go to church.
all Sunday morning now time.
It's like, okay. Yeah, and I just he just come in our room. We were both still in bed.
Yeah.
Who's taking me to church? What time service start? And he goes, they've got one at 11. So I think we can make that one.
Yeah.
Get up.
Yeah. That's the one I like to go to myself, man.
Yeah.
I ain't casting any stones.
Yeah. Well, I'm a squirrel, man. I get up. If I got something to get up for, I'm up.
Yeah.
But so we go, and we went back, and Pastor Ed, he saw me, and he just looked at me. He let me go a couple weekends. He said, it's good to see you. I've been waiting for you. It's like, okay. So Bryce is in youth, and first time I ever met JR. So I'm confident to a fault. Let's just put it that way. Arrogant, cocky, getting better.
Yeah. Heck yeah. It's all about progress.
Right,
I mean,
100%.
We're not perfect.
So my son, he'd been teaching himself how to play the guitar. And he was, at the time, getting all right.
Yeah.
So he goes, I really want to play on the worship team. I was like, oh, okay. Who do you got to talk to? He goes, oh, I don't know. I'm like, well, have you talked to anybody? He goes, no. We're sitting in the truck up there at the outreach building. And I was like, well, hold on. So I jump out. Hi, my name's Kevin. I'm Bryce's dad. What does he got to do to get on the worship team? And JR standing there with this guitar on him. He goes, well, here, what can you do? Show me what you got. And, put him on the spot.
Yeah.
Can't do nothing. Big fail. Just stone cold, falls apart. It's like,
G chord, maybe.
What's that? Yeah, G. What? I don't even know what the first string is. What is this? But so he goes, and JR, just that man.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Love
man.
JR.
JR's awesome.
Love JR. And he goes, no, that's all right. We'll work with it, man. He goes, that's great to know.
Yeah.
So your name was what? Kevin. He goes, oh, okay. I talked to your wife a couple times. Uh-huh. I know. So then it leads into a friend that I've made, that I've known for 10 years, for a while, since I've been doing air conditioning. He works at Smith Supply. And it's just funny because I had to go see him today.
Yeah, I ran into your friend last week or so. We talked a little bit. Yeah.
I love him.
That's awesome, man.
And I said, hey, I need prayers. I got this thing today.
Yeah.
And he goes, if you need to use me, use me. I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm good for it. He goes, if people need to come see me, let them come see me.
Yeah.
Love him. He's got a heart for man.
Oh, man. Yeah, he's
love
awesome.
It. But he is, he asked me one day, I'm going to ask you a question. I know we've had conversations, and I know. He said, do you believe in God? I mean, just flat ask it. Do you believe in God? Yeah. He goes, would you say the relationship is, what would you say it was like? I'm like, not what it should be.
Yeah.
You going to come hang out with me for a weekend? And we went to, you had his son on here, John Aldridge's boy. Oh my goodness.
Did you go to base camp or true north?
I did. I went to base camp.
Yeah.
I went to a base camp, and November 17th, 19. I'm just that old. I still live in that realm. November 17th, 2022 was the first time God came and spoke to me. First time I ever heard his voice.
Wow.
And it was during a session called Your Name.
Let's go.
Who does he call you?
Yes, go. Identity.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Who does he say you are? You know what he called me? The son of a shepherd.
I had that on my notes. I was going to ask you. Oh, that's beautiful, man.
The son of a shepherd. And I don't know what that means. I'm confused. Like that's different. Okay. Yeah. You want me leading what? Hold on. So I go home, and my son, God has touched that boy. He gave him the gift to see. He can see.
Discernment.
Yo.
Oh, yeah. He sees it.
Buddy, he sees them. He sees demons.
Yeah.
He sees the light. He sees. And so I'm having this conversation with some guys at this camp. And I was like, man, I said, out of everything, I can see how he can fix. But the one thing I am most curious to see what he does with is the one thing that is my strongest, most hateful attribute. It's my mouth. My mouth. I can kill people. It's all I did for over 40 years.
Yeah.
I'll be 46 this year.
Yeah. I'm right behind you.
Yeah. And that was just, I was like, okay, let's see how you take and you change this. So I come home after that 3-day weekend, and the one thing my kid says to me is, there you are.
Really? Wow.
My dad came home.
Wow.
There you are.
Yeah. He saw
I can't, every time I think of that, I can't hold it together. I never.
Oh, that's amazing.
I ain't never had anybody.
Oh.
I've never allowed, let me rephrase that. I've never allowed anybody to be inside.
Yeah.
Especially like this. Like where we're at right now.
Yeah.
This is
crazy.
Man,
I appreciate this.
It's crazy. But yeah, he said when I was there, he said they all came home. You were over there. You were cutting them free.
Yeah.
And they all came here. and they surrounded this house, and mom's been in a weird mood. Mom's been fighting them. Things have been happening to her with her parents and just other people, and it was so I'm not a religious man anymore.
Yeah.
I felt the love that from the one person I needed it from the most.
You're the son of a shepherd now.
I'm the son of a shepherd.
You've always been. You just didn't know it at the time.
You know what my favorite phrase is from those kids up there? You just wouldn't understand.
You're like, oh, would I?
But so I tell my wife. We talked about it some more. I was, like I said, man, I go blind and I go hard and I go fast. And when he came into my heart and he gave me that hug and he set me free from myself, I just wide open, like in a not a good way.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like I perverted it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm the spiritual leader of this house now.
God, isn't that the...
And so, so there's a lot of humbling going on here, still, because that was right 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's kind of like bowling with the bumpers on sometime, you know?
Yeah.
I feel the same way a lot of times. You're just ting, ting, ting.
So me and my wife, I told her, all right, I guess go tell JR we're going to give this a wing. We'll see what happens. And I tell you what, I scheduled my life around them kids. And it was crazy because the wild part was seeing there's no way you can use a devil like me, a demon like me.
Yeah.
It's not a demon like me. It was what was inside of me that needed to come out. So you have to empty yourself. You have to empty yourself. You have to give him room to come in.
Well, and you were talking about, that's cool what Bryce said to you, because sometimes, all of us want to be seen. Mm-hmm. He just really showed you, that was also a way of the Lord saying through him,
yeah,
like, I see you for the first time, you're operating in who you really are.
Yeah. And when I saw, I had a hard time with that, with him and his walk. I'm like, I just felt, I felt belittled. I'm like, he's so much further than me.
Yeah.
He's 13. He's 14 at the time. And so I was telling Pastor Eddie that one day, and he goes, whoa, how'd he get there? You're forgetting something. You put your child on your shoulders. You're the one that you lifted him up to God. Where did he get that seed? Was it just from you? Was it from everybody? I was like, that kid looks at you, right? Oh, and that leads me into a podcast that I found. And it's a friend of mine. Man, my brain just exploded. So it's a podcast. It's called M46, and it's based off of Malachi 4:6. He'll bring, God will bring the heart of the father to the children, heart of the children to the father. It's the very last scripture in the Old Testament. If that's the last thing you've got to say about something in this big old book, that's pretty important, right? You're talking about the heart. You're talking about love. Love the kids. Love yourself. But what I was going to say is, so one of the things Matt said in your Series 500 that you're doing with him.
The Matt conversations.
Yeah, the Series
thanks
500.
Matt again for doing that. We got a new name for it, Matt, the Series 500.
Series 500. But no, he wrote down, he was some questions, and it's something, I was listening to it the other day, and it, like you said, it was that one question of sitting, can you show me where you were living with me, fighting, caring, and I wasn't aware of it.
Yeah.
That was the last 40 years of my life.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a beautiful intro or outro to our... So answer that question now as we kind of wrap it up.
Love.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah.
So everybody says...
And then also, keep going on that and then answer after that. So where was he?
He was in front of me, beside me, on top, under. He held me in his hands. He put me in his hands like a bubble. He put me everywhere.
Even after all the stuff you did?
Even after everything I did.
That's the gospel.
Because you know what? Here's the thing. Is he says seek.
Yeah.
He says knock.
Yeah.
Because you'll do what?
You'll find me.
He's just right there, y'all.
Yeah.
He is right there.
So is that the encouragement you would give to somebody who might see
Say
themselves in any part of your story?
He's not going to push himself on you. He's waiting for you. Free will.
Mm-hmm.
He wants you to seek him, and when you do, you'll never have any more love. So, and he brings them in. His love comes in so many different forms. It's not even funny. Matt was calling it.
Yeah.
It's a library.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what it is? It's a series of relationships.
Yeah. That's good.
Right? The Pharaoh.
That's so good.
The Pharaoh had a relationship with God.
Yeah.
Didn't realize it.
Yeah.
Pick a person. Ruth,
Yeah.
Moses,
Yeah.
Titus.
Yeah.
Just pick a name. Any of them. They all had a relationship. So what are they showing us? What is he showing us?
All love in it.
It's all love.
It's all love.
I love you so much. You keep searching me.
Yeah.
And he brings them in. Jesus, when he came and he looked, he says he didn't send them out one by one, two by two. Because here's the thing, is kind of came to me the other day, is everybody says you turn 180 degrees, right? You turned his life 180 degrees.
Yeah.
Well, really, you're just going backwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you put it in the form of a cross, if you're in the world and you're laying
Yeah.
flat down and your face in the world and you're just in those ditches, and then finally you meet your Josh Harris and he brings you up just a little bit,
Yeah.
and he's there and he's giving you love, and then you meet a Stoney, and then you meet a Josh Allen, and then you meet this guy, and eventually it's our goal to be upright
Yeah.
and to walk in Christ and to
Yeah.
be next to him and with him and around him and just share everything he's got for you. It's all about love, because if I don't love you, and that's love God.
Yeah.
And then what?
Love people.
Love everybody.
Yeah. And love never fails. I mean, that's the...
Never.
So somebody who sees themselves in your story in some form of it, and they're feeling pretty hopeless, about themselves, about God, whatever, what do you tell them?
Go find a mirror and go love that person. Because that's the one person we have the hardest time loving. Because I can see everything that I've done.
Go find the mirror and love that person.
Forgive yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you can't forgive yourself, how are you going to forgive anybody else? You don't know what that
You
feels
love your neighbor
like.
like yourself.
Love yourself.
Yeah.
Find that mirror.
If you don't love yourself, how are you going to love your neighbor?
Get in your word. Find you a friend that's going to be... Everybody makes fun of me. Because I'm that guy. I just get butt naked.
Yeah.
Be raw.
There's a guy who discipled me who used to say that all the time. He wouldn't say it. He was like, just undress in front of the Lord. Like, what he's trying to say is tell the truth. Like, just be honest for once.
Yes. If you can't be honest with yourself, who can you be honest with?
And then the people who forget themselves, that's really good advice, encouragement. And then how does God feel about them?
Oh.
Even if they've done this stuff, I mean.
What's he tell us?
Yeah.
You did what?
As far as the east is from the west.
Yeah, that's right. You did.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I love you. That's what he said. I've always been right here. I was just waiting for you to look up, Peter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right here. Don't take your eyes off me. You won't drown.
Yeah.
And you know what the best part is? Is when I told JR, or we told JR, this is me and a wife thing. It ain't just a me thing. It's a her thing. Because that woman has patience. Don't pray for that one, by the way.
Yeah.
He'll give you everything to be patient for. But no, when we became youth leaders, that's when it changed.
Wow, you started serving too. Like when you
That's
started
when
serving.
it changed. And it changed in a way that I only saw myself, and I see myself. I see 17-year-old kids walking around, dealing with, maybe not a lot,
but pieces
one
of
person,
it. Pieces of it for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. My favorite phrase up there. You wouldn't understand. Try me.
Yeah.
I've pulled a couple out. I've gotten cussed out in the back of the building. I'm like, say whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
You cannot hurt my feelings. I promise you.
Yeah.
And so it turned into being in someone's living room and hearing them say something as I mind my own business in a closet, or I hear them.
Yeah. So I need to say, so you have a Wild H.
Wild HAC.
AC. So
Yep.
you've done stuff for us. You did a fantastic job. And the thing is, the way you described it is you're a son of a shepherd doing some AC work.
I just do AC work on the side.
Yeah, doing AC work on the side, and you're in the living room now, working in the closet, and then you're able to speak and minister and give life and spread Jesus. If somebody listening wants to hear more of your story, be encouraged by you, say, man, I need you to see me, that type of thing, minister, prayer, whatever, email Keven, and man, that was awesome. Thank you for being so vulnerable.
And you know what's funny is that's the condensed version.
I know. Well, we may have to go another round. No, but you nailed it. That was perfect.
Yeah, so. But that's the thing is everybody, if you remove yourself and you talk about what God's done for you, you can talk for a long time.
100%. Man, we love you. Thanks for doing this.
Love you too.
And thanks, Jared.
Yeah.
Bada Brownie Productions.
Jared didn't ask any questions.
I know. Jared was supposed to ask a question, but he's not. So, hey, if anybody else needs something from Jared and what they do, call him. And this has been awesome. So, hey, pray us out. You know what we do. So,
all right,
it's on you.
Well, Heavenly Father, I just come to you with a big thank you. Just thank you for being faithful and just being who you promised to be, and you have never changed from that, Father. I thank you for Josh and what he's doing. This is phenomenal. Just letting people get out because of his podcast. I've actually been able to see you in more ways and apply you in more ways. I pray for everything we've got going on. I pray for everything that you've got laid out in front of us, Father, for it is only you that we serve. And it is only through your love that protects us, Father, because there's nothing greater than that. And it is in the name of Jesus we pray, amen.
Amen. Thanks, Keven.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this latest edition to the StoryField podcast. We hope that you have been challenged, inspired, and ready to take that next step, whatever that is. If you know someone with an amazing story that needs to be heard, send us an email at info@thestoryfield.com. Have a fantastic day, and we can't wait for you to join us on the next episode of The StoryField.